Hello and welcome to the Dutchin channel. It's Tuesday the 14th of May 2024 and it's approaching 10:15 in the evening, and this is the results show for today's three main UK flat meetings at Beverley, Chepstow and Ayr. Now let's get into this because it wasn't a great day again. But what I did this time was a little bit different. You can see by looking at each race there, we have a massive sea of red, which I don't like. But if we take this back to yesterday, the pattern is very much the same. The only thing today with those 11 reds that you can see there, 9 was second, and so many of them was unlucky. But I've done a little bit of a different betting strategy today. Because I could see after I'd betted in the first 5 races, it was exactly the same pattern as yesterday. I just thought to myself, I need to back some individual horses that maybe could just get me out of trouble instead of just trying to do evens, because yesterday we needed to get back somewhere in the region of 5.5 points. I'd already lost 5 points, 6 points going into today because of the first at Chepstow. And I thought, well, that's 11.5. How am I going to get this back? Well, I'm not. It's an impossibility that I'm going to get that back in one day, and I don't look to get it back in one day. But today, I just had to change the betting strategy just to try and not put myself further in debt, but just try and pull some winners out of the fire, because you can't keep having loser after loser. We know that a professional gambler, if you read their sites, it will tell you that you could go 3 or 4 months without winners, or that's how they work their systems. So I had to wait until the second race at Chepstow. This was the 6:10, but I was already pretty much 6 losers behind. And I thought, well, how am I going to get something back in this next race? And I was so lucky, really. Well, I was so lucky, I mostly deserved it with the amount of seconds and short heads and noses that I've been beaten today. The Racing Demon came through. I mean, I'd done the bet for £50, so there was no difference in the betting the way I did it there. But on top this time, I had to put money on Ravens Glass and Racing Demon of 15 quid each, because they're my top 2 selections, just hoping that one of them could add a little bit more money into the kitty to get some of those losses back. So I was dead lucky, really, that Racing Demon won that race, and somebody somewhere was shining a light on me that give us hope. And then we went into the 7 o'clock at Ayr, where Shifter come through late to beat my selection here, Bear Away. So that was another loss. And then we went into the 7:10. Joy Choi won this one. And then I got the money back from the race before, and I called it a day. It was not worth continuing right the way round, because getting my money back near enough there was all I wanted to do. I didn't quite break level, but at the end of the day, I've put it down as level because it was such a hard day sitting here. And I didn't want to carry on in the evening, and I'm pretty lucky I didn't, because after I packed up, there was another 6 losses and another 1.5 wins. So I could have still been a couple of hundred down on the day, but I just knew at some point we had to give up. So 2 days on the spin have been absolutely poor. So I think what I would do tomorrow, I would give the day a miss, and then I will start again on Thursday. I will look at some patterns tomorrow on why I haven't won in 2 days. So that's about all I can say, really. There's nothing else on the front of showing you the profit and loss, because I'm not going to fill in anything with today's meetings there, and the profit and loss I'm not going to put in. I most probably made a loss of around 50 odd pounds, but I'm not really worried about that. I was so happy to see myself get those losing races back that I did have, and said to myself, well, let's just get out of it today. So yeah, I'm gonna take a day off tomorrow. But it's not a day off. I mean, I'm going to be sitting here looking at the form, looking at why I've lost over those 2 days, and it could have been horrendous today. I mean, if we just look back quickly, I know 9 of these losers came second, so it is not as if they're like miles out. But if you look at 11 losers and only 3 winners, you might as well take the part win and the part lose out and just forget those ones. You could have said to yourself today, I had 8 losers at £400 if I didn't continue here and try and get the money back for those early races and not bet in the last races. So it could have well been another 8 points lost today, which would have been everything that we've won since day 1 in May. So I don't want to go back to that point and be on zero and start that again. But I do want to have a look at it tomorrow just to see why it's gone wrong. Perhaps there's a little tweak in it somewhere that I can do. Someone did say to me, you should have kept your other system. But don't forget, the other system dipped in the middle of April. I know we had a really bad start to it, and then it gradually got worse. But yeah, perhaps there's something in that mid-month, you know. But if anybody wants me to have a look and go back on to that other system, which of course we know it did bring out a 57% profit, but this system I'm doing at the moment for the last month has got us out of a lot of trouble and has won us a lot of points. So I'm not gonna say this is the be all and end all and let's change again. But we need to be on a winning system, not a losing one. I mean, if we look back to the start of this month, we had a minus 79, we had a minus 288, 209, 45, and then of course yesterday and a possibility of today would have taken it all the way back to the start of the month, and we'd have been halfway through the month with no profit at all. So I was pretty lucky in the way that I've sort of scraped out of that one. So yeah, if anybody wants to message me or something and say let's go back to the other system, I don't mind giving that a try, but we won't do it tomorrow because I want to just have a look back at the figures, and I want to have a look back at perhaps if I had done the other system today, perhaps there would have been a different results in that system for today. But of course, it's very easy to look back because we're only going to look back at the losing days. But what about when we look back on the day we won £346? Would the other system have won on that day? Because you can't just change your mind on certain days. You have to either start at the beginning of the month and go through them all. And if I did, that would take me in the region of a week, I suppose, not to gamble and go back and do all the backlog of the racing to the first of the month. But it's time consuming. So we'll see how we progress. But the good thing is that we're not losing money. So that is the one good thing. And even whichever way I look at it, there's a £445 profit in the first half of the month. So it's not the end of the world. I'm used to profiting more than that. But the only way I can do that, of course, is up my stake, which when I tried yesterday, it didn't work. So I didn't bother with that no more. So we'll have a look over tomorrow. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to bet tomorrow. I'm going to have a look back at a few of those losing days just to see what we could have had if we use the other system. But yeah, if anybody does want to give me a couple of ideas for now, whether they want me to stick with what I'm doing or whether they want me to go back to the other one, perhaps people preferred the other one. I don't really know. But the other one was proven more than this. This one proves in the long term that it works, and we've seen in a month of actually betting it that it does work. And the other system I did have proof in for 57% winners. But of course, it didn't stop in April losing really, really heavy at one part of that mid-season. And that's when I had to look at it and change it and do all different kinds of betting, if you remember. When one day I had to do the value bets, one day I had to do the lay betting, just to see if we could change it anywhere at all. But I think, like everything else, it comes in phases. One day it won't work, the next day it will. Don't forget, there would not be bookmakers if gambling was that easy. But I've had people say to me, why don't you just pick a nat bet out for the day? Well, if I do pick a nat bet out for the day, I've still got to do all the betting races. So to pick that one horse out, I've still got to pick out 15, 20 races. So that isn't going to change anything. So we'll have a look tomorrow. I mean, I will send out the tips that I did, but I won't be doing them. But you can see what we would have had yesterday. And yeah, as I say, I'm just waffling on about rubbish now. So we're out of trouble for the day, but it's nothing to be proud of, unfortunately. So I won't be putting anything out tonight for tomorrow. I won't be doing anything from the exchanges in the morning either. And we're going to start again Thursday. And I will look at perhaps doing a slightly different money plan. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do the same amount on one race at evens to win the same amount. But we'll look into it anyway. We'll look into it. Yeah, any people that have done a subscription, just email me on the normal address there. Just give me an idea of what you think. We'll take it from there. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the evening, and thanks for listening for me to go on and on. And I hope you had a good punting day. Take care.